Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about something that is often overlooked: intelligence and wisdom in women. Intelligence is not just about education or knowledge, but also about mindset, behavior, and decision-making. Sadly, some women fall into patterns that reveal a lack of wisdom and self-awareness. So, let's explore 6 signs of a stupid woman and why we should avoid them at all costs. A foolish woman believes that her beauty is the most important thing she has to offer. She spends hours perfecting her appearance, obsessing over makeup, hair, and the latest fashion trends, thinking that these superficial attributes will determine her success in life. While there is nothing wrong with wanting to look good, the problem arises when she neglects personal growth, intelligence, and character development in favor of mere physical attractiveness. She measures her worth by the number of compliments she receives, the attention she attracts, and the envy she sparks in others. This kind of mindset is dangerous because beauty is temporary. Time will eventually take its toll, and if she has built her entire identity around how she looks, she will struggle with insecurity and loss of confidence as she ages. Instead of developing her mind, building valuable skills, or nurturing meaningful relationships, she puts all her effort into something that will inevitably fade. A woman who prioritizes looks over substance often lacks depth in conversations and struggles to engage in meaningful discussions. She might be well versed in the latest celebrity gossip or fashion trends, but when it comes to important topics like career growth, financial independence, personal development, or world issues, she has little to contribute. This makes it difficult for her to connect with people on a deeper level, leading to shallow relationships based solely on appearance rather than true compatibility. Additionally, women who rely solely on their beauty tend to attract the wrong kind of attention. They may find themselves surrounded by people who are only interested in them for their looks rather than their personality, intelligence, or values. This can result in unstable relationships where they are constantly seeking approval and validation from others instead of developing self-worth from within. A truly intelligent woman understands that while beauty may open doors, it is her mind, confidence, and character that will keep them open. She invests in personal growth, reads books, learns new skills, and challenges herself to evolve beyond just her physical appearance. Instead of seeking admiration for how she looks, she strives to be respected for what she knows, how she thinks, and the impact she has on others. A woman who constantly seeks validation from social media is someone who bases her self-worth on the approval of others, rather than developing genuine confidence from within. She is obsessed with likes, comments, and shares, believing that the more engagement she gets, the more valuable she is as a person. Her happiness becomes dependent on external praise rather than internal fulfillment, making her vulnerable to self-doubt and insecurity when she doesn't receive the attention she craves. This type of woman spends hours curating the perfect online image, carefully selecting photos that show only the most flattering angles, applying filters to enhance her appearance, and crafting captions that make her life seem more exciting than it really is. She measures her success by how many people admire her posts rather than by her real-life accomplishments. Instead of focusing on personal growth, career development, or meaningful relationships, she dedicates her time to creating an illusion of perfection for an audience that may not even care about her beyond the surface level. One of the biggest problems with this mindset is that it creates a cycle of dependence on social media validation. If a post doesn't get enough likes, she feels disappointed, unworthy, or even unattractive. She may delete the post and try again, constantly chasing the next wave of approval to feel better about herself. This endless pursuit of online attention prevents her from developing true self-confidence, which should come from accomplishments, knowledge, and character, rather than digital engagement. Additionally, women who constantly seek social media validation often compare themselves to others, leading to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. They scroll through highlight reels of influencers and celebrities, failing to realize that much of what they see is carefully staged and edited. Instead of appreciating their own journey, they become dissatisfied with their lives, feeling as though they are not beautiful, successful, or happy enough. This comparison trap can lead to anxiety, depression, and a constant need to keep up with unrealistic standards. Beyond her own struggles, this kind of woman may also crave attention to the point of oversharing. She puts her personal life on display, sharing intimate details, relationship problems, or even fabricating stories just to stay relevant. This need for public approval makes her vulnerable to criticism, exploitation, and even manipulation by those who take advantage of her desperation for validation. A truly confident and intelligent woman understands that social media is just a tool, not a measurement of her worth. She uses it wisely, not as a crutch for self-esteem, but as a means to connect, learn, and share meaningful content. Instead of relying on likes and comments to feel good about herself, she builds her confidence through achievements, personal development, and strong real-world relationships. A woman who engages in gossip and drama is someone who thrives on negativity, constantly inserting herself into other people's business instead of focusing on her own growth and success. She finds excitement in spreading rumors, stirring conflict, and tearing others down rather than uplifting those around her. This behavior is not only toxic but also a clear sign of insecurity and a lack of emotional maturity. She often surrounds herself with like-minded individuals who enjoy discussing other people's flaws, mistakes, and failures. Instead of engaging in meaningful conversations about goals, ideas, or personal development, she wastes hours dissecting someone else's life, judging their choices, and passing on exaggerated or false information. This need to gossip usually stems from deep-rooted insecurity. She feels better about herself when she brings others down. Instead of working on her own flaws, she finds comfort in focusing on the shortcomings of others. One of the biggest problems with this kind of woman is that she cannot be trusted. If she talks negatively about others behind their backs, chances are she does the same to those she calls her friends. Her relationships are often shallow and short-lived because people eventually realize that she thrives on toxicity. Genuine, mature individuals distance themselves from her because they recognize that she brings unnecessary negativity and drama into their lives. Beyond gossiping, this type of woman tends to create unnecessary drama in her own life. She blows small issues out of proportion, constantly finds reasons to argue, and seeks attention by playing the victim. Whether it's with friends, family, or romantic partners, she always has a new problem, conflict, or betrayal to complain about. Instead of handling issues with grace, maturity, and communication, she resorts to emotional outbursts, manipulation, and exaggerated storytelling to gain sympathy. Social media often amplifies this behavior, as she may use online platforms to air out personal grievances, post cryptic messages, or start unnecessary conflicts. She might post indirect insults, create fake narratives to gain attention, or seek validation from strangers who fuel her drama. This kind of behavior not only damages her own reputation but also alienates her from people who value peace and positivity. Another major issue with gossiping and drama-seeking women is that they hinder their own progress. Instead of using their energy to build a career, develop new skills, or form meaningful relationships, they waste their time on petty conflicts and pointless discussions. They fail to realize that gossiping does not make them smarter, richer, or better. It only keeps them stuck in a cycle of negativity. Furthermore, constantly engaging in drama creates a toxic environment where trust, respect, and growth cannot exist. Whether in friendships, workplaces, or romantic relationships, people eventually grow tired of constant negativity and unnecessary conflicts. A woman who refuses to break free from this pattern will find herself alone, with few genuine connections and no real personal development. A woman who is financially irresponsible is one who fails to understand the importance of managing money wisely, often spending recklessly without considering the long-term consequences. She may live beyond her means, accumulating debt on luxury items, impulsive purchases, or unnecessary expenses while neglecting her savings, investments, and financial security. This kind of behavior not only creates stress and instability, but also makes her dependent on others to support her lifestyle. One of the most common signs of financial irresponsibility is an obsession with material possessions. She may feel the need to constantly buy the latest fashion trends, designer bags, expensive shoes, or high-end gadgets, even if she cannot afford them. Instead of budgeting and making smart financial decisions, she prioritizes instant gratification, believing that her social status or self-worth is tied to what she owns rather than what she can achieve. She may justify these purchases by saying, "You only live once, so I deserve it," without considering the financial consequences of her actions. Another issue with a financially irresponsible woman is that she relies on others to fund her lifestyle. Whether it's her parents, a partner, or even loans and credit cards, she expects someone else to take care of her financial needs instead of developing independence. She may see men as financial providers rather than life partners, looking for someone to rescue her from her poor money management. In relationships, this mindset can lead to entitlement, unrealistic expectations, and a lack of contribution, making her a financial burden rather than an equal partner. Neglecting financial planning is another major red flag. A financially irresponsible woman does not think about saving for emergencies, investing for the future, or building wealth. She might not have a savings account, retirement plan, or even basic knowledge of managing expenses. Instead of setting financial goals and working towards them, she lives paycheck to paycheck, spending whatever she earns without considering future responsibilities. This kind of carelessness leaves her vulnerable to financial crisis, as she has no backup plan in case of unexpected events like job loss, medical emergencies, or economic downturns. Credit card debt and reckless borrowing are also common habits of a financially irresponsible woman. Instead of using credit wisely, she maxes out cards on unnecessary purchases, takes out loans for things she doesn't need, and ignores the consequences of accumulating debt. She may pay only the minimum amount due, racking up high interest fees and digging herself into a deeper financial hole. Rather than addressing her financial mistakes, she avoids dealing with them, hoping the problem will somehow resolve itself. This kind of financial behavior affects every aspect of her life. When a woman cannot manage her own money, she struggles with stress, anxiety, and a constant feeling of being overwhelmed. Poor financial habits can lead to ruined credit scores, difficulty renting or buying a home, and an inability to afford important life experiences like traveling, education, or personal growth opportunities. Her lack of financial discipline can also put strain on her relationships, as money-related conflicts are one of the leading causes of breakups and divorces. Additionally, a financially irresponsible woman fails to see the importance of self-sufficiency. Instead of working towards financial independence, she relies on short-term pleasures and external support, never truly standing on her own feet. Without financial knowledge, she remains vulnerable, unable to make smart decisions about her future, and constantly at risk of financial instability. A woman who constantly blames others for her problems lacks accountability and refuses to take responsibility for her own actions, choices, and circumstances. Instead of acknowledging her mistakes and learning from them, she shifts the blame onto other people, external situations, or even bad luck. This type of behavior is a clear sign of immaturity and a victim mentality, which prevents personal growth and self-improvement. She may blame men for her failed relationships, insisting that all men are toxic, unfaithful, or unworthy, without ever considering her own role in those breakups. Instead of reflecting on her behavior, communication skills, or emotional patterns, she convinces herself that she is always the victim. If a relationship fails, she refuses to admit that she may have made poor choices, ignored red flags, or contributed to the conflict. She will say things like, "Men are all the same," or "I always get hurt," without recognizing that her repeated patterns are a result of her own decisions. In her career or academic life, she might blame her boss, colleagues, or even society for her lack of success. If she doesn't get promoted, she claims the system is unfair. If she fails an exam, she insists the teacher was too harsh. Instead of taking initiative, working harder or improving her skills, she plays the blame game, refusing to acknowledge that success requires effort, resilience, and personal growth. She does not take constructive criticism well because she sees it as an attack rather than an opportunity to improve. Financially, she blames the economy, her family background, or bad luck for her struggles, rather than taking steps to manage her money wisely. She may claim she can't save because life is too expensive but still spends recklessly on things she doesn't need. If she is in debt, she blames the banks, her job, or society, instead of accepting that her financial habits play a major role in her situation. She refuses to take responsibility for budgeting, making smart investments, or working towards financial independence. This kind of woman also has difficulty maintaining friendships because she often portrays herself as the victim in every disagreement. If a friend confronts her about something she did wrong, she refuses to apologize and instead blames the other person for being too sensitive or misunderstanding her intentions. She may cut off friendships over minor conflicts, believing that she is always right and that everyone else is at fault. Over time, people distance themselves from her because they realize that she is incapable of admitting her mistakes or resolving issues in a mature way. Her unwillingness to accept responsibility also extends to her personal growth and happiness. Instead of actively working on self-improvement, she blames external factors for why she isn't happy, fulfilled, or successful. She believes that life is unfair to her, that others have it easier, and that she is somehow doomed to fail because of circumstances beyond her control. This kind of mindset keeps her stuck as she never takes charge of her own destiny. Instead of looking for solutions, she only focuses on problems, making excuses rather than making progress. Over time, this pattern of blaming others creates a toxic cycle where she sees herself as powerless. She never develops resilience, problem-solving skills, or emotional intelligence because she is too focused on shifting responsibility to others. This prevents her from achieving true success and fulfillment in life, as she will always believe that someone or something else is holding her back. Rather than realizing that her own mindset and actions are the key to her future, a woman who lacks ambition and purpose is one who drifts through life without clear goals, direction, or motivation to improve herself. She lives passively, waiting for opportunities to come to her rather than actively working towards something meaningful. This kind of mindset often leads to stagnation, dissatisfaction, and a life that lacks true fulfillment. Without ambition, she remains stuck in the same place, never pushing herself to achieve more, learn new things, or reach her full potential. One of the most concerning aspects of a woman without ambition is that she often relies on others to provide for her, believing that her success or happiness should come from external sources rather than her own efforts. She may expect a man to take care of her financially, assuming that she does not need to build a career, develop skills, or secure her own future. Instead of striving for independence, she remains dependent, believing that a relationship or marriage will solve all her problems. This mindset is dangerous because it leaves her vulnerable. If she ever finds herself alone, she will struggle to support herself and adapt to life's challenges. She may also lack the motivation to improve herself intellectually or emotionally. Instead of reading, learning, or expanding her knowledge, she wastes time on unproductive activities such as scrolling through social media, watching mindless entertainment, or engaging in gossip. She does not challenge herself to grow because she is comfortable with mediocrity. When faced with challenges, rather than rising to meet them, she gives up easily, believing that hard work is too much effort or that success is only meant for other people. A woman without purpose often wakes up each day with no real sense of direction. She may go through the motions working a job she dislikes, spending time with people who do not inspire her, or engaging in meaningless activities without any drive to change her situation. Instead of setting goals and working toward them, she accepts a life of routine and predictability, never pushing herself beyond her comfort zone. This lack of passion and determination can make her feel lost, unfulfilled, and frustrated with her life, yet she does little to change it. In relationships, a woman with no ambition can become a burden rather than a partner. She may expect her significant other to provide not just financial stability, but also emotional fulfillment, entertainment, and a sense of purpose that she lacks in her own life. She may become overly dependent, looking for someone else to save her rather than taking responsibility for her own happiness. This can create imbalance and strain in the relationship, as no one wants to feel like they are carrying all the weight while their partner refuses to grow or contribute. Furthermore, a woman without ambition often lacks self-respect and confidence. She does not take pride in her abilities, achievements, or potential because she has never put in the effort to develop them. Without setting and achieving goals, she may struggle with low self-esteem, feeling as though she is not capable of greatness or that she has nothing valuable to offer. She may envy other women who are successful but refuse to put in the work to reach similar levels of accomplishment. Her lack of ambition also affects the people around her. Friends and family may find it difficult to support or encourage her when she refuses to take action to improve her situation. Instead of being someone who inspires others, she becomes someone who drains energy, as her negativity and lack of drive can be discouraging. Over time, she may find herself surrounded by others who are just as unmotivated, reinforcing a cycle of complacency and wasted potential. Ultimately, ambition is not just about career success or financial stability. It is about having a purpose, setting goals, and striving to become a better version of oneself. A woman who lacks ambition limits her own potential and misses out on the satisfaction that comes from achieving something meaningful. Whether in her personal life, career, or relationships, her refusal to challenge herself and grow leaves her in a constant state of unfulfillment. Without ambition and purpose, a woman often falls into patterns of procrastination, excuse-making, and self-sabotage. She convinces herself that she will start working toward her goals someday, but that day never comes. She may claim she wants to be successful, travel the world, or pursue a passion, yet she takes no concrete steps to make these dreams a reality. Instead of using her time productively, she wastes it on distractions, allowing life to pass her by without any meaningful progress. This lack of drive can also manifest in the way she handles setbacks. Every successful person faces obstacles, failures, and challenges, but the difference between those who grow and those who remain stagnant is their willingness to keep pushing forward. A woman without ambition often views failure as a permanent defeat rather than a lesson. She may quit at the first sign of difficulty, believing that success is out of reach or that she is not lucky enough to achieve great things. Instead of learning from her mistakes and adjusting her approach, she gives up and blames external circumstances for her lack of progress. Another sign of a woman with no ambition is that she surrounds herself with people who reinforce her stagnant mindset. Instead of seeking out individuals who challenge and inspire her, she chooses company that makes her feel comfortable in her complacency. She may spend time with people who gossip, complain, or make excuses rather than those who push her to be better. This environment becomes a trap, keeping her from breaking free and striving for more. Her unwillingness to push herself also impacts her physical and mental well-being. Without a sense of purpose, she may neglect her health, making poor lifestyle choices and failing to take care of herself. She may lack the discipline to maintain a balanced diet, exercise regularly, or engage in activities that promote mental clarity and emotional stability. This neglect can lead to a cycle of low energy, reduced motivation, and overall dissatisfaction with life. Furthermore, a lack of ambition leads to an inability to take risks or step outside of her comfort zone. She may fear failure so much that she never even tries. Instead of chasing her dreams, she settles for what is easy and familiar, avoiding any situation that challenges her to grow. This fear of the unknown keeps her trapped in the same routines, never allowing her to experience the excitement and fulfillment that come from achieving something greater. Without ambition, life becomes monotonous and uninspiring. A woman who refuses to pursue her goals and aspirations ultimately limits not only her success but also her happiness. She fails to realize that personal growth, achievement, and self-improvement are essential components of a meaningful life. Those who lack ambition often look back with regret, realizing too late that they wasted precious time waiting for life to change instead of actively shaping their own destiny.